Hey peeps, this is Kizu. The PTB for where All Things Wicked chapter for Dead by Daylight has now released. Goodness gracious, it's a lot. So there are timestamps in the description, so you can skip to certain sections if you want to. But we're immediately going to get into the new killer. The unknown, a thing, a cryptid that's supposed to be incomprehensible and not understandable. And it truly is, at least when it comes to its power. I'm going to try to explain it to the best of my ability. Basically, as the unknown, you have a normal radius, normal movement speed, and when you use your power, you bring up a grenade launcher. Yes, I'm not kidding, I know it looks like a penis, but trust me, it's a grenade launcher. What it allows you to is shoot out a projectile that's very bouncy in its physics and has very finicky ones, receiving an add-on to increase the bounciness of the projectile. Basically, if you do a direct hit on a survivor, they get hindered for a little bit, or more with an add-on, but after it bounces around a little bit, it's going to explode and do a little AoE. If any survivor is caught in that AoE, they're going to become weakened. And that's a new status effect. The way you remove weakened as a survivor is by directly staring down the killer. A little bit like Ghostface reveal, but the progress doesn't go away, it just stays on. But if you already are weakened by any means, because there are other means of add-ons, you're also going to get injured if you get caught into the AoE again. And if you're already injured and you get caught in the AoE again, well, you will go down. Standard stuff. This is very finicky to understand because it's really unclear to me right now at this current juncture whether or not this killer is really strong, really weak, or whatever. At least in his chase power, because damn boy, that is hard to hit projectile that is pretty finicky. But I'm sure has the potential to be mastered super well, especially with the bouncy add-on, and may become very lethal. But I'm reserving judgment on how strong this power is. It's at the very least going to be pretty decent at chasing the survivors. If you're facing some survivors that are holding W around tight loops of hope, then probably may be very punishing. But we will have to see. The other part of this power is the hallucinations. So there is a certain amount of hallucinations the killer may leave. The way it works is just every small period of time, intermittently, you are going to, on your position, just randomly leave a hallucination. After some cooldown, you can teleport to any hallucinations on the map, then resetting them again and putting you on cooldown. The cooldown isn't displayed visually on your power, you'll just have to wait. Besides that, survivors can dispel hallucinations if they come up to them, and there's a little sequence where they for hallucination and make it disappear. But if you teleport to them during the dispelling, the hallucination will stay up and they'll get spooky jump scared. So, moving on to the survivor perks. So, there's a new survivor, Sable Ward, also coming with this chapter. Lore-wise, she's some weirdo who's a friend of Michaela, and that's cool, I suppose. But let's move on to the interesting part, which is the perks. The first perk is Invocation, a new type of perk. It's called Invocation of the Winged Spiders. So when in the basement, near a circle, press the ability button 1 to begin the invocation. Whenever somebody has an invocation perk, there's going to be a little circle at the end of the basement where you can start the invocation ritual thing. Invocations always take 2 minutes. Other survivors will see your aura during this and can join in ongoing interaction, increasing the speed by 50% each. And if they have an invocation perk equipped, they'll actually increase it by 100% instead of just 50. And once the invocation is complete, you, the initiator of the invocation, will become injured and broken for the rest of the trial, and all generators will instantly gain 15 charges. Completing the invocation disables that perk for all survivors. This is not a very good perk, but I guess it's kind of interesting. So the thing is, this takes way too long, and going in the basement is super risky. Stacking power survivors is just worthless, and you'd want to do this at the start of the game, but 15 charges to start the game on 7 generators is kind of useful, but they can be easily regressed. Like if you're going against Ruin, that's pretty much useless. This takes too long, this is too risky, and this location of the ritual circle thing is kind of weird, but there is potential here for a cool perk. It would have to be shorter, maybe a safer location for a survivor. And generated charges would maybe get reduced to 10, but it would be like a brand new part thing where like all generators become 80 seconds or whatever. Because right now, the trade-off is just too huge for this perk to be worthless at all. speaking of worthless perks, Strengthen Shadows. While in the basement, this perk activates. Basically, it's a 60% speed self-care. While you're in the basement only. And after you finish your heal, you'll see the killer's aura for 10 seconds. This is not very good. It's kind of a side grade-ish to self-care. Because with self-care, you can do it at any point in the map. While here, you have to physically go to the basement. So I think in most situations, self-care would just be better because you'll just not waste time running. And if you have botany and self-care, why would you ever run Strength of Shadows? You can just run self-care botany. I don't see any reason why people will use this perk. This seems just bad. And encouraging your teammates to go and run away, not just into a corner, but into a fucking basement while injured. Jesus Christ. There's also our third perk, Wicked. And they say, note, a big PTB features an older version of this perk, which has since been replaced. The effects listed below as a perk PTB. This effect will be changed before the update goes live. If you're not sensing the theme yet, this update is pretty rushed. The perk starts with 1 token up to a maximum of 5 tokens. For each token, you recover from Mangled 20% faster. For each 15 seconds in the basement, you gain 1 token. While you're affected by the curse status effect, you heal 10% faster. At 5 tokens, it makes Mangled go away twice as fast, which means it's going to be 45 seconds or 30 seconds instead of 90 and 60 respectively. This is never going to be worth running. Ever. The secondary part, curse status effect, nobody cares. 10% is so worthless. Because it has a prerequisite on a Hex perk and being actively cursed. And half the Hex perks make you exposed, so healing is kind of shit. But I just don't see it at all. So her perks are pretty bad. There's one interesting new concept, but everything else is just kind of unusable garbage. And even the one interesting concept is kind of unusable garbage. But I guess it's at least interesting. The new killer perks for the Unknown are as follows. Unbound, Unforeseen, and Undone. Unbound is basically Superior Anatomy Part 2 Electric Boogaloo, more haste perks, yay. So, after you injure a survivor by any means, it activates for 30 seconds, and after vaulting a window, you will gain haste for 5 seconds. This effect cannot stack with itself. Boring, but very strong in the right hands, and especially with good synergies. Superior Anatomy and Bamboozle, you will vaulting tremendously fast, and then you will have haste. It's just boring. We're running out of ideas very clearly. Unforeseen is literally Trail of Torment, but better. Kind of wild. It's a really good perk, but holy shit, it's just Trail of Torment, but better. Undone is a perk that punishes survivors for missing healing or repair skill checks anymore, gains tokens, and after you perform or break action of generator, you will deal 1% of progress of damage per token, and then the generator will remain blocked for the amount of seconds that you have the token so far. And then goes on cooldown for 6 seconds. I hate this perk design. It punishes newer players pretty much exclusively, and rewards more fucking annoying ass skill check builds, which are just very boring to go against, and usually just lead to like free gen scenarios ish. So I don't like this perk. Overall, all these perks are pretty strong, but Undone I really dislike. Unbound is very uninspired. Unforeseen is literally just Trail of Torment again. This feels just like they completely ran out of ideas. I know people have been saying that, like odds. That here seems to be running out of ideas with perks, but they just completely run out of ideas. Like 2 of these perks are literally just old perks slightly differently, which is fucking genuinely saddening. There's also now a new map, the Green Wheel Square. It's cool. It has Michaela's coffee shop, which is funny. So this is officially also the map of not just Sable Ward and the new Killer of Unknown, but also Michaela Reed, which is kind of cool. It has the same realm as Garden of Joy, so in the PTB, there's only the offering for Rivered Isle, which is the Garden of Joy realm, and it doesn't actually function. Can you sense that this chapter is rushed yet? And this map is pretty okay. From what I can see, the double pound that got posted on Twitter isn't actually that bad. Like, it's not a very strong loop. Otherwise, this map seemed mostly fine. I don't see a lot of issues with it. There are some strong setups here and there, but overall feels okay, decently balanced in my little experience. Maybe it'll need a little bit of a nerf, but so far it's not one color. It looks pretty nice. Visually, loops are distinguishable. Pretty good job so far. So good job on the map mostly. The one thing is the map randomly, whenever a survivor is dying, there are no loaded things or whatever, and the trees just become this. Yeah, that's pretty good. Can you sense that this chapter may be a little bit rushed? Next order of business is the Huntress changes. So we've all thought it was going to be bad, and in fact, it's worse than we thought. So when using the shiny pin and the Huntresses just winds up, and you use the shiny pin, you're literally matching the survivor speed. Literally matching the survivor speed. What is this? What is this? Why? All the other buffs are also bullshit, but the one that really matters is this one, and yeah, now this can go live. This is horrible. Literally end of discussion. Jesus Christ, Huntress is so stupid now. Moving on to the Clown. The Clown has gone pretty much the changes we expected. There is no change to Pinky Finger, so Pinky Finger is in fact almost as good as what was on its very direct release, and in fact probably better. So there is pretty much a 1 bottle penalty compared to Old Clown, the one we have on live right now, for new Pinky Finger. And if you put on the gin tonic bottles or whatever, you'll have like 5 bottles. So Lamau. What the fuck is this? Like genuinely, what the fuck is this? Who thought of this? So you can just be Bandit Clown, you just can miss all your bottles again and use Pinky Finger. And the mobility buffs don't really do anything. It's a little nicer mobility. Kind of makes him a little bit more of a force to be reckoned with. But it's not a big game changer, so yeah. This is just bad and lazy. Can you see this trend I'm talking about? The Pix changes were in fact a buff and not at all nerf. So a lot of people were whining about the bear trap nerfs, but yeah, guys, looking at her new and improved ambush, yeah, those nerfs were very much warranted. If she had old slowdown based on together with this chase power, that would be fucking stupid. No wonder they nerfed this much. So, the two ambush add-ons. Her ambush is very similar to Chucky's, but even better, because you retain pretty much full control of how you move during your ambush. And it might be even a little too, what's the word? It's not punishing enough, I think, if you missed. I really am sure now that at least the miss cooldown needs to be brought back up, because especially combined with the miss cooldown reduction, it is too much. Her ambush is definitely strong now, and a very, very effective chase power, and I would keep a close eye on this. Definitely reduce the miss cooldown, and we can go from there. Right now, seems very strong, so as we probably adapt, but right now, miss cooldown, that's about it. That's one big problematic area. She doesn't need any further buffs. She's fine. The changes to the Mangled status effect seem fine. I like the way those changed, so I don't have any problem. Vigil does not affect it. In fact, I've tested it and it doesn't change anything. Vigil only affects Hemorrhage, which is a little weird. You'd think Vigil would affect Sloppy, which would make the perk a little bit more worth running, because it isn't really that worth running right now. It would be a very nice change for Vigil to affect Mangled. It affects its Hemorrhage already, so it doesn't make a ton of sense of why it doesn't affect Mangled. The new perk affects Mangled, but it's already going to get reworked completely because it's complete garbage, so it doesn't make sense to think about it in the context of that perk. Blight, Hag, Doctor, Demogorgon, all were as expected. Hag, Demogorgon, Doctor are all fine. Blight needs to be castrated immediately because holy shit, that shit is stupid. Besides that, the Bloodweb changes are kind of nice. This pretty buggy. It didn't immediately display the auto Bloodweb. I had to go select a different character and get the auto Bloodweb up there, and then go back to the new character and select the auto Bloodweb. So now it's available. Cool. The screens instead of the level up screen actually got sped up a little bit. It's not by much, but it is by a little bit. And when you're spending a lot of blood points, it will add up. I do still wish it was a little better, because this still feels kind of slow. I don't see why the pop-ups need to be there at all, but I guess it's an improvement. They also decoupled the licensed music thing from the anonymous mode, which is nice. But for some reason, the tooltip on the anonymous mode still says that the licensed music is not decoupled and is actually disabled by the anonymous mode. I'm feeling this chapter might be rushed. Oh, goodness gracious me. That is about it for this whole PTB. And I'm gonna be honest. My thoughts on this are very, very mixed. So, the good changes. Pig, pretty good. Definitely nerf miss cooldown. Hag, Doctor, Demogorgon, all pretty good. I don't have any real complaints. Clown needs to see a substantial and show rework. This is not the way you do it. I think most of the changes need to be reverted, or at least Pinky Finger needs to be absolutely castrated to cap it at like one fucking bottle. I don't see any reason why you should be able to just have 5 bottles as Pinky Finger. Doesn't make any sense. Huntress, incomprehensibly awful. Just incomprehensibly awful. None of these changes can go live. They even in their own dev update said that sometimes the map is bad. We'll change the maps. So I don't understand why this was a thing that happened. Blight somehow got turbo buffed, so I don't like that. Again, remove this. This shouldn't be a thing. The two iridescents are too strong together. Combat 33 needs to go back to 2 rushes, and Irritag needs to have a nerf to its speed. Mangled changes are okay. I wish Vigil would work with them, with the new Mangled. And Hemorrhage, I would like to see a little bit of a nerf to it too. Bloodweb changes are good, but even some we didn't mention. But of course, there could be more here. Also, the map generation on this PTB is horribly broken. Autohaven and Coldland are horrendously broken. And overall, this chapter feels very rushed. And it honestly feels more like a concept to me than an actual proper chapter. If you ever watched one, and do not describe them at all, I think they're doing a fantastic job. If you ever watched like from Wheat Draws, like those chapter spotlight concepts, that feels on that level of quality. And this is not to discourage that team at all. I think they're doing a fantastic job. It's really cool. But this is behavior we're talking about. And this chapter felt like this to me. I don't understand why, but the quality standard somehow got pushed even lower with this chapter. Overall, the killer inlayer seems interesting. I'm not fully sure where they placed is that, but they definitely seem at least decent in their chase power, pretty decent isn't in their mobility around the map. I'm not sure how interesting the counterplay against them as far is, especially when the killers get better at it, but so far it seems okay, and I wouldn't say it's completely awful, but we'll have to reserve judgment until the people get better at this killer and better at playing against them. The perks on both sides are kind of whatever. It is very disappointing to see strong perks on killer that really punish survivors. We have Trail of Torment again, but better, and we have a perk that is just Superior Anatomy, but again with more haste bonuses for killers. I don't know what we see. Survivor perks were pretty horrible, just all around. There's one kind of interesting perk, but they're just really, really bad. Alright, peeps, this has been the 760 PTB, and I'll see you all next time when we have the post-PTB dev patch notes. Bye-bye.